Hey there, I'm Frank Mitchell. On this channel, it's all about helping you understand your car and keeping it running the way it should. Whether it's routine maintenance or solving those tricky problems, I've got you covered. If you find this useful, give the video a like, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to watch till the end. You might learn something that saves you time and money. All right, let's get started.
Today we accompany the list of models that have suffered the most recalls during the years 2020 and 2021 with a slightly more detailed analysis, where we collect the data and group them by range, followed by the list of defects for which they have been reviewed by the brands. Within the extent of a thorough and detailed study, some clear conclusions are that the technical complexity of some models on the market means that there are a large number of elements predisposed to break down, so it is not surprising that Mercedes-Benz has largely occupied this less than honorable list of vehicles. List of models with recalls in 2020. The 2020 list is shorter than the 2021 list. This consequence seems to be the result of the rapid gain in complexity of the models recently launched on the market, especially among plug-in hybrid versions. New technologies bring new technical challenges and breakdowns. We have ranked those brands and models that have received 6 or more recalls and analyzed the main causes. Brands and models with 6 recalls: BMW 3 Series and X3 are the 2 models that top the list and share the same type of defects, largely due to the fact that they have shared engines and elements in their manufacture. Thus, the most common defects to be remedied in both models have to do with the risk of fire when starting the load in the plug-in hybrid versions, PHEV, the risk of breakage of certain suspension components, the sensors of the belt buckles that do not always detect the correct fastening, premature aging of components such as the positive terminal of the battery or the possible mechanical balancing shaft in some engines. Mercedes-Benz C-Class and E-Class have faults in common, related to possible engine oil leaks, defective airbags from the manufacturer. Takata, which also affected many other brands, problems with the calibration of the electronic stability control, ESP, the fixing of the rear seat backs and the braking system. Peugeot, in this list, is the 3008, of which the brand has detected risk of breakage in certain components of the steering, risk of breakage of the brake vacuum pump, corrosion problems in the suspension subchassis, and problems with the anchor bolts of the toe ball. Toyota, the Yaris, in its different generations, has required numerous recalls due to failures detected in the rear central belt anchorage, malfunctioning of the dipped and main beam system, problems with the airbags, and possible fuel leaks. Brands and models with 7 recalls: Mercedes-Benz, the Sprinter van has given the brand headaches in matters relating to electrical installation and cable insulation, and battery attachment problems in the e-Sprinter that could cause the battery to detach from its location and fall to the ground while driving. Brands and models with 8 recalls: Peugeot, here the 208 was the most problematic model, with defects detected in the timing belt and the brake vacuum pump, fluid leaks with risk for other vehicles driving behind, alignment failures resulting in trajectory control problems, poorly fastened shock absorbers, poor fastening of wheel trims, steering column design problems, and high NOx emissions due to poor engine calibration. Brands and models with 9 recalls: Citroën, the 2 vans of the brand, Jumper and Space Tourer, have shared defects with recall during 2020, problems with the suspension, timing belt, and insufficient tightening of the wheels on the assembly line. Ford, again a van, the Transit in its different body variants, has generated recalls for malfunctioning of the gear selector, possible fuel leaks, and problems of fixing the rear drive shaft. Peugeot, its vans homonymous to those of Citroën mentioned above, in this case Expert and Traveler, have had the same problems with the suspension, timing belt, and insufficient tightening of the wheels. Brands and models with 10 recalls: Mercedes-Benz, the A-Class, the smallest sedan of the brand, which accumulates a generous list of defects: overfilling or underfilling of the oil in the dual-clutch automatic transmission, oil leaks for turbo lubrication that can generate fire, problems with airbags from the manufacturer Takata, water condensation problems in the air conditioning system, poor Adjustment of the rear suspension that could cause an accident, R134 gas for air conditioning that does not comply with regulations. Incorrect detection of occupant weight in the case of using child seats, problems fixing the panoramic glass roof, poor welding of the passenger seat lift system and poor fixing of the airbags. Brands and models with 6 recalls. Audi, the A4 has received 6 recalls in 2021, curiously, despite being a veteran in the market about to be renewed. Among the defects listed are the ever-present Takata airbags, unauthorized software in the 3.0 and 4.2 diesel engines, possible breakage of the rear suspension arm bracket. The front passenger airbag may not deploy properly due to a fault in the manufacture of the dashboard or the defective tow hook. Mercedes-Benz, here the problems have been distributed between the A-Class, where side airbags do not deploy correctly, defective steering columns, poorly adhered glass roof panels, water leaks caused by the air conditioning or defective ISOFIX anchor brackets. And the GLE, where there have been problems with the water pump, corrosion due to leaks also in the air conditioning, damaged tires, poorly fixed instrument panels or failed reversing lights. Brands and models with 7 recalls. Audi, on the A6 there has been 1 more recall than on the A4, although some are related to each other, such as Takata airbags, unauthorized software or rear suspension or tow hook. Others are specific, such as problems with the instrument panel surface mounting and faulty crash sensors for airbags and pretensioners. Mercedes-Benz, the E-Class has been recalled in 2021 for defective brake disc bolts, water pump problems, defective side impact sensors, defective parking assistance software and hardware, improperly attached rear seat headrests, defective starter motor connection and possible faults causing leaks in the injection ramp and injectors. Opel, here the Grandland, a mid-size SUV that has presented premature wear of the timing belt, failures in the urea injectors, in the diesel particulate filter, poor fastening of the rear wheels due to improperly tightened bolts or poor coupling of the towing system, takes the honors. Volkswagen, the Tiguan has been affected by incorrectly tightened brake hoses, defective locking of the rear backrests, defective tow hook, missing screws or defective welds on the seats, both on the allspace, defective welding on the brake pedal or rear spoiler, poorly adhered to the bodywork. Brands and models with 8 recalls. Mercedes-Benz, here there have been no less than 3 models with a high volume of calls. On the one hand the C-Class, with problems with the water pump, battery incorrectly fixed to the chassis, on FEVs, incorrectly fixed rear seat headrests, cabriolet, incorrectly fixed glass roof panels, faulty gas pipe connection, alternator problems, faulty steering control wiring or a faulty winter wheel kit. The GLC shares some of these, such as the water pump, glass roof or gas piping, and has specific ones such as problems with side impact sensors, faulty starter motor connection, mismatched multi-beam LED headlamps or chassis reinforcement components that can come loose. The Vito van has presented malfunctioning side airbags, suspension arm failure, poor front brake caliper attachment, detachment of a roof rail, poorly welded co-driver seat, defective pretensioners, poorly attached glass roof or poorly designed steering tie rods. Brands and models with 9 recalls. Mercedes-Benz, the most complex and sophisticated of the range until the arrival of the EQS, the S-Class, has presented failures in the screws of the defective brake discs, problems with the side impact sensors, defective headrests, leaking fuel tank, defective electrical connections, defects in the glass roof and in the steering tie rods. Brands and models with 10 recalls. Mercedes-Benz, to finish, again a model of the German brand, the Sprinter, in which possible failures have been detected due to short circuit in the starter motor, defective insulation of electrical wiring, brake hoses that can be damaged, power steering failures, fuse diagram incorrectly represented in the user manual, possible breakage of the towing system, disconnection of the stability control under certain circumstances, possible brake fluid leakage, battery module incorrectly fixed, e-Sprinter, and lack of instructions on the charging procedure, e-Sprinter. In conclusion, understanding the cars with the most recalls is crucial for consumers making informed decisions. The data highlights not only the importance of safety but also the responsibility of manufacturers to address potential issues. As we've seen, some brands consistently appear on these lists, prompting us to consider reliability and manufacturer transparency when choosing a vehicle. Stay informed, prioritize safety, and always check for recalls before making your next purchase. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more insights on automotive trends.